And we are live, guys. Welcome to another live stream from the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. Today we're talking about prioritization as a masculine man. Let's define again masculinity is the ability to control your thoughts, your emotions, and your behavior. In order for you to achieve what it is that you want to achieve, those huge, massive goals that you have, we need consistency and we need focus. Right? In order for you to get that stuff, you need focus, man. And you can't focus when there's so many different distractions and diversification is going on in your life. You want to prioritize? Let's prioritize. You've got three basic categories of life. You've got relationships, you've got health, you've got finance. Sometimes, people say, that people are sacrificing their health in order to make money, and then when they get old, they sacrifice their money in order to get their health back. So you got to be wise when you make that exchange. Wouldn't it be better to simply invest a little bit in your health during that time and maintain it while you massively build your business? And then over time, if you get rich quicker and faster, rather than getting rich when you're 50 and 60 years old and 70 years old, then you can actually apply the principles of health early, okay? You can do that in your 20s and in your 30s and then keep a healthy lifestyle throughout the rest of your life consistently because you got the money in the first place. That's just using an example. But relationships, health, and finance. Which one should you prioritize first? If you've been on my channel for a while, you know which one it is. It's financials. Why? Why is that the masculine thing to focus on? Again, begin with the end in mind is the principle that Stephen R. Covey uses in his book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And if you begin with the end in mind, what is the end in mind? The picture that you have. The picture in mind is that you've solved a huge problem for humanity. That's the big thinker mindset of a masculine man. That you've solved the problem for millions of people so that they don't have a problem ever again with that specific thing. Right? A masculine man will find ways to set up systems so that he is no longer needed, so that he can move on to the next system, so that he's no longer needed there either, and then move on to the next system so he's not longer needed anymore. Okay? It's the principle of legacy. Or creating a system that doesn't need your presence anymore. It takes time to build it up, but once you've built it up, it's passive. Right? This is what you want to have as your big thinker mindset for your life, where you are solving a problem for millions of people, and then when you step back, they're now fired up because there's a solution, and they're going to continue using this solution and producing this solution forever, or until we find an even better solution. Does that make sense? So that's what we should drive towards continuously. The more people you help, the more people are going to help you, which is a good thing, which is karma in a nutshell, which is what you want to be doing your entire life. This is why, in my opinion, you should never, ever, ever retire if you want to be happy. You want to be happy? Then get fired up about working for the rest of your life and finding the things that you're excited about so that you don't feel like it's work because you enjoy it. Right? That's big thinking. And if you know that this is the big end in mind, you don't want to be distracted by your health during that time frame. You don't want to be distracted by you not having money to fulfill that big solution that you want the masses to have. You don't want to be held back by relationships because they have issues and they have health problems and they have things that you need to sort out and focus on because they're problems. You want everyone around you to not have that much problems. Because if you do, then it gives us capacity to do the thing that needs to get done in order for you to achieve your big thinker purpose. Does that make sense? So if we started with the end in mind, you want to make sure that you're consistent, have 12-hour days until you're 150 years old, right? What needs to be prioritized right now? We need to make, there's three different aspects. You've got repair, maintain, and then massively escalate. Or I don't know what the third principle could be, something else. But if you think about your health, if you're in a situation where your health is really bad, you're really overweight, you've got a lot of issues, maybe you're facing cancer or whatever it is that you're facing, okay? Like if you have a lot of health issues, obviously that should be your main priority over financials and health and all that stuff, right? So you would be in the repair mode for that. So that should be your masculine focus in order for you to get over that so you can move on to the next one, if that makes sense. But if you are already kind of healthy, and if you're young and everything is working properly, etc., then it's all about maintaining good health and maintaining health in such a way that you've got energy. Because if you do that, then you're basically maintaining pretty much optimal health simply by exercising 30 minutes a day. That's it. You don't need any more. You don't need to focus for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours on bodybuilding to maintain good health. That's not being healthy. And very often those people who do that, it's not very healthy in general. Unless, you've got some really, really good diets, etc., etc. But how can you do that next to having a full-time job or 2 jobs or whatever it is that you're trying to set up? Right? Prioritization means that you keep health on a maintenance aspect, not a massive focus and escalation standpoint. Does that make sense? You want to be focused all of your attention on one thing. Is this the right time to have a girlfriend? Think about the long-term picture. You want to become so rich that you don't need money in just a few years' time. Money is never ever going to be a problem for you ever again if you simply focus on it. Right? If you make that your focus, your prime focus, there is no time for girlfriends. There's no time to get married. There's no time to get kids. There's no time to focus on your religious endeavors. Right? There's no time for that. Why? Because you're prioritizing increasing your power. You're increasing your ability to do. You're increasing your character and your ability to not quit and never give up and keep going. So you have to start with the monetary goal first. That's the wise thing to do. Prioritization. Prioritization means neglect of everything else. You know how the difference between men and women when it comes to priorities. This is a huge one that I don't often talk about, so you're lucky to see that in the middle of a video. Women have a very hard time prioritizing the most important thing to do at any specific time. The reason why is because they very often go after the thing that causes them to have the most emotions. That's how women prioritize. This is how they prioritize when it comes to men. This is how they prioritize when it comes to work. This is how they prioritize when it comes to friends, when it comes to their career, when it comes to anything. They will prioritize the thing that is screaming the loudest to their emotions. So their emotions are going to feel something intensely, and that's the priority they're going to go for. Is that a good thing? Well, if you put them, if you have them in the correct environment, it's a fantastic thing. Because in the correct environment, let's say they're homemakers, for example, the thing that's screaming the most for them is their kids. That's a good thing. If they're together with their 3 girls and love 2 other women in the home, they will be the one that creates most emotion. And if they're together in the home, then you will be the one basically, causing the attraction in them when you come home from work. And that will be the thing that's screaming the most towards their emotions. Does that make sense? That's family living. And if you have the correct environment, then she's going to have the right priorities. But if she doesn't have that environment, you haven't created that for her, she's not going to make you or your kids her priority. If you're in monogamy, she's not going to make you her priority, nor the kids, because she prioritizes first not being lonely, and she prioritizes first getting her security, which means, I'm going to go out and get a career. because I don't trust you because you're feminine and I'm masculine and I've fended for myself my entire life, so that's what I'll do. So do you understand the aspect that she cannot and she's unable to prioritize because she's going to follow her emotions, and she'll only neglect other things if her capacity is maxed out. Giving you guys some insight on the female brain here. For guys, it's different because we're neutral. We don't have intense emotions about stuff very often. Or at least we shouldn't have. Because the more feminine we are, the less we're able to neglect things. The more feminine we are, the less able we are to neglect things that shouldn't be prioritized. If we're feminine, we're in the same mindset that the women are in. That we basically go towards the thing that causes our emotion to be more intense. The thing that we feel is more pleasurable. We're going to avoid pain because we don't want pain because we want the pleasure. That's the intense emotion we want. And then we fall into the trap of immediate gratification, etc., etc., etc. You don't want to be feminine. Get rid of that thinking. You want to move towards masculinity because then you'll actually be able to neglect stuff. Because that requires masculine decision. Let's say, for example, you've got your financial aspect here, but then you've got your friends who are basically mocking you and telling you that, bro, take a chill pill, you know, you don't need to work 70 to 80 hours a week. Like, join us at this party, join us to the beach, I need help with moving. No, you don't have time for their crap, because they're probably not going to be your friends very, very shortly, because you're going to change and they're not going to change. Right? You want to get abundance in your life, you're gonna get different friends on the journey. That's just the natural way of doing things because your friends are not helping you build your business. They're not moving forward with you in the same direction as you, or at least building their abundance. And they might say that they are, but you know they're not because they waste their time and they're not focused and they're not doing what they're supposed to do. So you can't spend time with them. So a masculine prioritization here would be to cut off the time. Always be nice to them. Always be friendly. Oh, never say that, oh, bro, man, you're not going anywhere, so I'm going to cut ties with you. You don't do that. That's ridiculous because they're going to hate you for that. But you can say, bro, I can't, man. I got to work. 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 And they'll be like, man, he prioritizes work more than me. I'm gone. And then he departs from you. Fantastic! This is one of the best things that could ever happen to you. I'm just using this as an example. Or your girlfriend. Okay, if you still have a girlfriend, oh my gosh. If you have a wife, different story. If you have a woman you're engaged with, in my opinion, it's not a different story. You should be working 70 to 80-hour work weeks. And if she says, I want you to spend time with me, I want you to be around with me, and you're forgetting me because you're so focused on your business and your career and blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry, I gotta work, I gotta do this, babes, and blah, 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 blah. And then you stick to your masculine schedule and priority of 70 to 80-hour work weeks. Do you understand what I'm talking about here? I'm talking about neglect. Love, neglect. Neglect, 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 neglect. I can say it 1,000 times because that's the thing that's stopping you from building a business. It's you being diversified and having too many things to focus on in your life, too many things that you're trying to maintain at, or giving, there's a quote, give everything you've got to everything you do. That's a fantastic principle. However, if you've got too many things to do, you're not going to be able to give everything you've got to everything you do. Does that make sense? If there's too many different focuses, if you've got 12 different focuses, trust me, you cannot give 100% to each of them. Just our brain doesn't work like that. So you got to learn to get rid of stuff. Before you can focus, you got to get rid of distractions. That's the number one focus, to get rid of stuff. Neglect. Okay? Say no. No, no, no. You gotta, before you make a to-do list, you gotta make a stop doing list. Because that's gonna free up your time. And the thing that you don't have a lot of is your time. Oh, but I'm 13 years old, bro. I got tons of time. That depends how quickly you want to get this done. Right? I mentioned in the previous video about 10,000 hours. In order for you to become elite in anything, you've got to put in 10,000 hours, and they've got to be effective hours, not hours where you're being distracted by your girlfriend on your phone or you're being distracted by a YouTube video because you got to watch it. No, 10,000 hours actually doing the thing that you need to get done and failing at it and moving forward. So anything that stops you from doing that needs to go. Now, it's important to understand that when you're building something, make sure that it's not, that you have an exit strategy if it's a job, okay? Because very often people are like, I had a client at one time who had a goal, and he had some issues in his childhood, which was causing him to make some wrong priorities. And he made a priority that he was going to massively focus on his job because he was making a lot of money. It was like, for his job, is quite a lot. It was like $100,000 or something per year, which is quite nice for like a 26-year-old, 25-year-old, whatever it is. So he was making a lot of money, and his only focus was to not build a business, but to actually get a job, or to keep this job and work and work and work and work and work and work and work. And then now he had done that for basically 10 years or whatever it was, and now he had no friends. His bad relationship with his family, his health sucked, absolutely sucked. He hadn't maintained that, etc., 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 and bad self-esteem and all that crap. Okay, if he had simply had an exit strategy to make sure that he got out of that job within 18 to 30 months by building his business at the same time as going to these jobs, then he would have been able to have freed his time up within 2.5 years' time to prioritize the things that were important to him. Because he was basically working 70, 80-hour work weeks and night shifts and all that stuff on this job that was paying him well but destroying his life. Do you understand how important it is to understand these priorities first early on in your life? Because then you've set yourself up. You've set yourself up for life. So again, recapping here, you're prioritizing financials, but you're prioritizing financials not from a standpoint of saving, because that's ridiculous. Savers are losers, if you've listened to Robert Kiyosaki. Saving money, it's not saving, because it loses, it devalues itself every single year. And now that we're entering hyperinflation, it's a very bad investment to be in the dollar in the bank. Don't do that to yourself. Gold, silver, Bitcoin are my recommendations, but I'm not a financial advisor. It's just my, educational purposes only. But you understand what I mean? Like, you got to invest in things that actually hold value or go up in value over time. I'm against the stock market currently right now. 5-10 years ago, that would have been a good idea. And So, but do you understand what I mean? You got to prioritize your business. Prioritize your mind. Prioritize paying yourself first instead of paying everyone else. That's masculine priority. Learn how to neglect things. Another aspect, for those of you who are still young, who are watching my videos, who've watched my quit school video, you got to understand, what should I be neglecting? Well, I'll tell you what, instead of investing 7 to 8 hours a day at school, bro, what are you doing? You're wasting your future. At age 18, you can be a millionaire. 22, 23 years old, you can be a millionaire. It's just the amount of putting in the hours to build businesses, not having, and building that on top of the jobs that you have. And if you're 12 years old, 13 years old, good on you, because then you don't have to, get jobs. You simply have to start building a business immediately because you're not old enough to have a job. But I'm just telling you, putting 7 to 8 hours at school is ridiculous from a success standpoint. It's a waste of your time. So you need to talk to your parents to be homeschooled. And I never said in the quit school video that you should quit school and not go to school at all and not have any school activities and quit school completely. I basically said just don't go to school. Homeschooling is the name of the game. Meaning you put in 1 hour every single day, because you've promised your parents that you're going to graduate high school at least. Okay, but you want to become a millionaire by the age of 18 and 22 or whatever it is, the date that you set, and you don't have time for that crap. You don't have time to go to school. So you'd rather put 1 hour every single day, even during the holidays, July, you're going to be putting in 1 hour of schooling so that you are at the top of your class if you were in school. And yet, you have the extra 7 or 6 hours every single day instead of having spent that at school, wasting your time. You're building a business. Priority and neglect. What should you prioritize? Should you prioritize a high school diploma? Like, you're going to get it, and you're going to be at the top of your class, but you're not prioritizing putting in the hours at school that's necessary for you to, because your parents said so. You can do that at home. Massively. That would be a wise priority, okay? And if you think, oh man, my parents would be yelling at me and they'd be freaking out, not if you explain it to them the way I explained it in that video. Watch it again and again and again if you're that age. And if you're a college guy, and if you have more than a year left of your studies, bro, quit. You should have quit a long time ago. It's time to get busy making money now so that you can invest, so that you can start building business. Learn leadership skills. You're not learning that at school. You're simply not. So, anything else I wanted to say on prioritization? Hold on, let's see. You are blessed as a man with the ability to not care, to be selfish. Use it to your advantage because you're doing it for other people. You're not just doing it for yourself. You're doing it for the grand purpose, the grand design in the future, remember? When you're 140 years old, you've kept up with your health, and you also have a massive goal, massive drive towards solving these problems for the masses, and you've been doing it for 100 years, right? If you have that in your mind, you don't have time to do the other crap that you're doing, okay? Of course, there needs to be a healthy balance, but balance is overrated. Okay, when I say balance, I'm talking about, okay, you have 1 hour or 2 hours a week, and you set that aside specifically for friends and family. Okay, maybe even a full evening. Oh my gosh, wow. Okay, a full evening where you set aside for family and friends. You're going to be there for them. You're going to look them in the eye. You're not going to be on your phone. You're going to turn it off, and you're going to simply be present and enjoy their company. Amazing, fantastic. But the rest of the time, the 70 to 80 hours, you're going to be building a business and neglect family and friends that entire time, unless they're actually with you building your business. Do you understand what I'm talking about here? Again, you're putting in the necessary hours for you to be elite in something so that you are valuable to society, so that society gives you money and gives you value back because you're serving so many people. And when you do that, you now suddenly have cash, and there's so much good stuff you can do with cash. I know very often people that are feminine are like, well, I don't really care about money. I just want to do what I enjoy to do. You're missing out on exponential growth in joy and happiness, man, unless you learn that money is fantastic. And it should be at the forefront of your mind all the time, okay? And then you need to let it go because you're not chasing it. It's kind of like girls. If you chase girls, you're not going to get them. If you chase money, you're not going to get them. You just simply want to attract money. But the way you attract money is by doing free service to other people. You're working for them, and you expect something in return, but it's not that big a deal if they don't pay you. Like, do you understand what I mean? It's just a different way of looking at success. You're doing it because you want to serve. And when you have that right intent, and then you put a price to it, according to what you feel is the right price, then they're going to pay you. And when you suddenly don't have more time available, then they'll pay you more because you increase your prices, because you simply can't serve them anymore. unless you increase your prices, because, you know, some customers will fall off then, and that's a good thing. Neglect. Can you remember that one? It's a fantastic principle, and you've got to learn it. What can you neglect in your life? Comment down below. Tell me, what are some things that you need to stop doing? What are some things that you need to stop caring about? Okay? Maybe it's part of you, like, should you neglect yourself? I don't think so. Is working 70 to 80 hours neglecting yourself? I don't think so. If you spend your time wisely next to those 70 to 80 hours, you'll basically have 30 to 40 hours of preparation time to be ready for those 70 to 80 hours. So if you spend that time wisely, it's your free time that's important, not the time you're at work or at your jobs. It's your free time that's critical, that you spend your time wisely. And that's the preparation time. So the preparation time is the most crucial time in order for you to progress faster. Okay? So that's what you need to prioritize the most. And then, of course, you have the jobs. But you don't want to take that to the nth degree where you're just like, I can't work 70 to 80 hour work weeks because I got to prioritize myself. I got to prioritize planning and journal writing and blah, 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 blah. I think you're understanding what I'm talking about today. Hope you got a lot out of this video. Let's see what people are saying. Okay. I'm open and willing to try the 3 Girls in Love, but I think it would be hard to find women that are interested. Should I share the 3 Girls in Love philosophy with my peers? You should definitely share these channels with your peers. Absolutely. But 3 Girls in Love, at your standpoint, where you're still thinking about, should I vote for Biden? That's a very bad idea. So 3 Girls in Love should just be a far off in the future thought for you that maybe you'll get when, I don't know how old you are, but when you've got at least $100,000, you know, and if it hyperinflates, you got to think in Bitcoin. Okay, but that's what I'm talking about. Like, you're not financially ready, but start sharing the information because it creates motivation for guys, right? It creates this this vision that, man, in the future I could get that, but I can't get it right now. I can barely get a girlfriend right now. How could I get 3 Girls in Love? You can't. But also, don't get a girlfriend, because if you get a girlfriend, you're deprioritizing 3 Girls in Love. Right? You get a girlfriend, you're deprioritizing setting up your financial foundation. You prioritize schooling, you're deprioritizing getting things faster. Does that make sense? Like, you want to get your dreams as fast as possible. There's nothing wrong with getting things quickly as long as it's sustainable. Right? You want things to be sustainable. Like, if you got 3 Girls in Love right now, and you're like, bro, I did it. I got 3 Girls in Love. And you've got no money in the bank, and then you don't know how to lead women because you've never led a team. You've never had employees before. I'm not saying that 3 Girls in Love are your employees, but you understand what I mean? Like, if you can't lead a team of masculine men, or feminine men for that matter, you won't be able to lead 3 women. That's what I'm saying. So, or have you built your business to the standpoint where you need employees? Then you're not. If you haven't, then you're not ready for 3 Girls in Love for sure. And you haven't learned how to lead yourself, because if you are not able to get 3 employees, then that's probably because you haven't learned how to lead yourself first. So that's where it starts, with allowing yourself to be led and then leading yourself. So the 3 Girls in Love aspect, guys, come on. It's the future. And if you're getting close to 100K, then why haven't you hired me as a coach yet, so that I can help you to get prepared for 3 Girls in Love and help you get prepared to get exponential growth in your financials? That's what you should be focused on. Again, money. Get the money right. And compress that, deprioritize and neglect everything else so that you can get the 3 Girls in Love fast, and so that you can get the exponential growth of your monetary situation fast, and so that you get the personal trainers and chefs fast. Because the faster you get that aspect and have it sustainable, because you've set up the exponential growth curve of your businesses, then you're going to have that for the rest of your life. You don't want to spend 10, 20, 30, 40 years trying to prioritize 12 different things Or do you understand what I mean? And which basically means that you're deprioritizing your future by prioritizing too many things because you're not focusing. Focus on one thing. Okay, what is it? Focus, follow one course until successful, right? Okay, let's keep going. Do share this knowledge if you can. However, treat this like a test of your masculinity. By that, I mean always be prepared to embrace rejection by others, especially your peers. Yes, absolutely. Share 3 Girls in Love, but focus, and maybe that'll help your rejection aspect, for sure. Because people will reject you. Guys won't reject you as much because they'll be like, man, that's awesome. They might say, you could never get 3 girls. And then you'll tell them, I don't care. Like, right now I can't, I know. But in the future, why not? Other guys have in the past, so why shouldn't I be able to? And then they'll be like, oh man, I'm curious. Let me check out these channels. Money is my main priority as I enter adulthood. I want to have everything. Fantastic. Why should you make it a priority when you enter adulthood? If you're more than 12 years old, which I know you are, Mysteriously Kind, then let's focus on money. Let's start working right now. Let's start not only having a job, but that's your first priority probably. It's 70 to 80 hours, guys, making money. That's what I'm saying. Get rid of schooling. Schooling is a waste of time. It is. Start working. And you'll go through rejection. And it's going to be good. Through personal experience, I can tell you that many rub this channel as rubbish. Cool. And I've lost a friend after showing him this channel. Should I be sad/mad? No, that is feminine. Congratulations for losing a friend. Awesome, man. If he doesn't think like common sense, because that's the someone I've said before, and sometimes I say that I'm extreme, but is common sense and logic extreme? Like, it's not. Like, I'm just basically giving you common sense and telling you that if you prioritize these things in your life is gonna be fantastic. You're building yourself towards confidence and commitment. And if you've got those two, you're going to get everything in life that you want. What's extreme about that? There's nothing extreme about it. 3 Girls in Love is absolutely freaking awesome if you understand women and female nature and you take all the blame. Okay? And getting tons and tons of money is value adding for society. You won't get tons of money without helping other people. You help tons of people, you're going to get tons of money. That's how the world works. It's a beautiful system that God or the universe has put together for us, where we simply have to be capitalistic and you'll get everything in life that you want. And then the system has made it so that poor people don't get what they want, which is good because they're not ready for it. Okay? And there's also rich people that are bad, but we don't want them to be bad forever, so we've got to take their place as being richer than them so that good things can progress faster than the bad things. Do you understand what I mean? We want good people to have tons of money, and we want the bad people to be poor. But we don't want the bad people to be poor by forcing them to be poor, right? Do you understand what I mean? Like, simply if you compete with bad people are feminine. So this is why I know, it's just a detour here, but this is why I know that light and truth will always win. So you hear these conspiracy theories and all the crap that's going around with rich people basically wanting one world government and all that crap that we know about, but it's not the time to tackle right now. Understand that light and truth will always win, because the guys that are bad are feminine. Because if they were masculine, they'd be patient with people. They wouldn't force. They wouldn't use violence. They wouldn't use viruses. They wouldn't use whatever it is, whatever tool that they're using, government and police and all that stuff that they're using very often, in order to force others to, to pay taxes and to pay this and that and the other so that they can't compete with them who are already rich. Do you understand what I mean? Like, if you're masculine, you'll be able to be more consistent than them, better than them, and come up with better inventions than them and beat them at their own game, because they're impatient and they want immediate gratification. if you're masculine, you can be better than them. And that's why, because I know that these principles that I teach are going to become mainstream for guys. Tons of people are going to reject it, but there's going to be 3% or 5% that are going to accept the things that I teach, and they are the ones that are going to become powerful beyond belief. Okay, and that's what I'm fired up about, and that's the big problem that I'm solving with this channel. So, Joe, as an inspiring businessman, is the customer always right? If you want to retain him as a customer, yes. Always agree. Always agree with people. Never ever disagree. Not once ever. Always, 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 always agree with people. So yes, the customer is always right if you want to keep him as a customer. But since you've started your own business, okay, as an employee, you never want to do anything to a customer that rubs them the wrong way, because you're messing up the business of your boss, right? So the customer is always right if you're an employee. But if you are a business owner, however, you're the one who decides if you want that person's money or not. So if that person is rubbing you the wrong way, as long as you've always been honest and integral and all that stuff, sometimes just customers are just rubbing you the wrong way. Then you block them, and then you don't want to talk to them, and you reserve the right to deny service. That's possible, but it happens less than 1% of the time, less than 0.1% of the time, but the customer sometimes is not always right if they desire money back for them ruining a product that they bought yesterday. Do you understand what I mean? So anyway, I'm just saying, I want to become a CEO. What if I wanted more than 3 women? That would be feminine. Why? Good question. Reason why is because then you don't understand female nature. It's not for you that it's 3, but in many aspects it is. Because if you're masculine, you want things to work, and you want things to be consistent, and you want their emotions to be fulfilled at all times. 3 Girls in Love allows women to be fulfilled at all times for the rest of their lives, okay? If you set up the correct environment as taught on the 3 Girls in Love channel. If you get 4 or more, it's gonna be problems. A lot of them. Because they're not going to be able to tackle it. They're not going to be emotionally fulfilled. And then you've got tons of problems to fix and focus on. And you're diversifying because there's too many of them. And they're all fighting with each other. And you just have to back off. Doesn't work very well. 3. It's 3. That's masculine, because that's you understanding female nature. And understanding that that's enough for you, so that you can make sure that you focus and get a depth with each of the women, but also for the women to know that they're safe and secure. And once you've secured those 3, there is no more. You won't come in the door or tell them that, oh, I found this other girl, to give them insecurity. Do you understand what I mean? Once you've hit 3, they're secure, they're safe, it's consistent, it's us. That's it. It's a family. And we're going to have it for the rest of our lives. And I'm going to be committed forever. Okay? Do you understand what I mean? It's 3. Should I go for women that are older than me? Why are you talking about women, man? Stop! You need to focus on money now. Not the women. Women is in the future, when you got the money. And once you begin to focus 99% of your time on money, and you're getting there, and you're exponentially increasing towards making tons of money, hire me as a coach. You should have done that in the beginning, in my opinion. But then you hire me as a coach, and then, guess what? I'm going to be sharing thoughts with you about female nature. That's what I do with Luesta all the time, because he wants to know. Right? And because he's progressing massively towards 3 Girls in Love, I share with him the information. That's my expertise. People tend to forget that. My expertise is not business, but it's 3 Girls in Love. It's understanding femininity and masculinity, and in many aspects, leadership and relationships. But understanding leadership and relationships will massively help your business, okay? So sometimes I am lost when it comes to different business models, and when you become a client of mine, you're like, but you don't know Drop shipping. How can I know what to do in drop shipping and have you as a coach? I'm going to teach you consistency to get you to be consistent and not quit and keep going if that's the thing that you actually want to do. If you're sure that that's what you want to do, then I would just simply keep you on track and accountable and help you with your relationships, help you with your sales scripts, etc., in order for you to succeed. Does that make sense? My expertise is relationships and women and female nature and leadership. But my second, my minor is business and how to succeed in business because of people skills, etc. Let's see. Why would you go for older women when you can go for younger women? Completely agree. Completely agree. Oh my gosh. Don't go for older women. Let's see. You're right. I'm on 12-hour shift at the moment and I'm saving to make you my coach. Appreciate that, Issa, man. That's going to be awesome. We're going to have an absolute great time, and you're going to get exponential growth. I've just noticed I have two clients that have passed 6 months. Luis has been for 15 months, and he has massive momentum. Okay, go follow at Luista on Instagram. Okay, he's awesome. And he's gotten that massive growth. The second client of mine is Ronnie. Okay, RK Strength Training or Infinite Ascension 8. That guy, man. He's put in so much discipline in his business. He's a personal trainer online for basically for kids, baseball coach. But he's a strength and conditioning coach. So he can do other clients as well. But man, he's been so consistent with what I've told him to do in his business that it's insane. And guess what? Within 6 months, he got exponential growth. He got massive momentum. He literally has no more time left in his business. This is not his job, it's his business. Which means he can increase the prices. Which means that he's going to make more money exponentially over time now. After 6 months. So you guys have to understand, when you hire me, you're cutting down the time frame so much. There's some people who have let me go as a coach because, the setup is not as, specific, and I don't, I have a client who fell off, which is basically because he didn't feel that there was enough structure in the coaching. Some of my clients will be like, yeah, it's true, it's not much structure, but anytime I have a question or anytime I need help, he's always there. Okay? You guys will understand that. My clients know what I'm talking about. They don't have much structure. The only thing I'm talking to them about is, we need to do this. This is the next priority. This is what we need to do next. This is blah, 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 blah. Every time, within 6 months, there will be exponential growth in your business if you do the things that I teach you to do as a coach. Every time. Okay? If you don't use me as a coach, it might take you 18 months. It might take you 2.5 years. Sometimes it might take you 5 years. Because it's painful to hire me as a coach. It costs money, and then you're the one going through the pain. What a genius business model is that, right? I don't have to go through the pain. I just tell him what to do, and then he pays me money. It's crazy. But it works. And because of my experience, I can help them to take them where they are right now with their stinking thinking. And then, as long as they listen to the stuff that I tell them to do, they will get exponential growth and momentum. It's amazing, okay? So for those of you guys, I'm fired up to coach you. I'm very grateful for my clients. I want to do the best thing that I want for them, and they got to give me feedback if I suck sometimes, because sometimes I will. But if you compare my prices to other coaches, it's insane, okay? Like, I'm so affordable, it's absolutely ridiculous. Hit me up at Men of High Value on Instagram. I'll give you an offer and tell you how I can help you to progress towards the desired lifestyle that you desire. This is the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. See you guys in the next one.